It's 4 p.m. Eastern time on this 28th day of February, and we can now confirm at Town Hall Media that the Ayatollah Khamenei has been killed in that initial strike, the joint U.S.-Israeli strike in the wee hours of the morning in Tehran. We have confirmation from multiple sources, and now there's confirmation from the White House itself. The longest-serving dictator on the planet, with American blood on his hands for decades, has met his maker. Here's how Fox News reported it just a little while ago.
For us at this hour, Trey.
Yes, Sandra, we just got this in literally 2 minutes ago, but Fox News can confirm that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead following Israeli strikes against his compound and location earlier today.
That was confirmed by Trey Yingst via U.S. intelligence and government officials. We were told that the remains were uncovered, photographs were taken, shown to Prime Minister Netanyahu, and there was more confirmation from Trey Yingst of Fox News, again, via Israeli officials.
A senior U.S. defense official is telling our Jen Griffin that the U.S. government agrees with the Israeli assessment that the Ayatollah is dead, along with 5 to 10 other top Iranian leaders who were all meeting at a compound in Tehran today.
What the hell were they thinking, all meeting in the same place at the same time? In fact, it turns out that it was more than just the supreme leader. By the way, just a quick hint, if your head of state has the title supreme leader, you may in fact live in a dictatorship. Just a little handy note going forward for all of you. Trey Yingst, once again, and this was moments ago on Fox News, confirming that, yeah, there was a whole lot of the very top brass for the Iranian government all in one place right when the bombs started falling.
Fox News has learned from a senior Israeli security official. Israel assesses that more than 40 senior Iranian security and regime figures were killed in strikes during the opening operation that Israel launched this morning with the United States against the Iranian regime. This official goes on to say this is one of the largest regime decapitation operations conducted in modern warfare history, and that Israeli intelligence managed to infiltrate the Iranian security echelon, making the strikes possible, this official explained. But again, this news just coming into us, we were able to confirm it, that a senior Israeli official telling Fox News more than 40 senior Iranian security and regime figures were killed in the opening strike this morning. And John and Sandra, as you can hear on our phones here, and we're going to stay here. Our security is giving me the nod to stay here. Tel Aviv is under a significant attack right now. And again, this news breaking that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, has been killed. We are now reporting exclusively that 40 senior regime figures were also killed in the strikes. The Iranians are going to try to target as much of Israel as possible, and that's exactly what is happening right now.
Yeah, as much as Israel as possible, and also it appears as many of their Arab neighbors as possible, which of course is now inspiring, as we told you this morning on our live stream, Arab nation after Arab nation after Arab nation all declaring war on Iran. Iran has no friends. They have no allies in this fight, and as you just heard, over 40 of the top members of leadership of that government and military decapitated with one strike. Absolutely devastating. And as you saw, most of that confirmation coming from Israeli officials. You heard one of those reports saying a U.S. military official had said they agree with the Israelis' assessment. But it ain't news, my friends, until the President of the United States confirms it. And just minutes ago, Kristen Welker of NBC News got off the phone with POTUS, got off the phone with the commander-in-chief, and here's what she reported.
This was an extraordinary 3-minute conversation, Yasmin. Let me read you the key takeaways. I asked President Trump if he had confirmation that Ayatollah Khamenei has in fact been killed. He said to me, I've spoken to a lot of people. We feel that is a correct story. Again, when I asked him about the reports that the supreme leader has in fact been killed, President Trump saying we feel that is a correct story. He went on to say, quote, a large number of their leaders have also been killed. And that was significant. The fact that he said this was not just one person, Yasmin, the fact that, according to President Trump, in this phone call that I have with him, he believes it's a correct story that the supreme leader has been killed, along with, he says, a large amount of leadership. He says there were 3 attacks, and he says that in some of those subsequent attacks, that is what ultimately killed the leadership of Iran. I asked him when he would know that this operation has been a success. He said it is going very well. We're probably, in terms of 0 to 10, we're close to the 10 spot, if not there. It's going very well. Tremendous damage has been inflicted. The leadership is gone. Large portions of the leadership. They don't know how many, he says, but he says that the leadership has largely been wiped out from Iran. So a significant
huge news
revelation and development in this 3-minute conversation with President Trump. When I said specifically, sir, how will you know that this has been a success? He said, quote, Yasmin, I think it's already been a success.
Okay, now that's something else. I want to just jump in here for a second because you saw some extraordinary photographs there as part of that. Here's one of them that has been released. This is the makeshift Situation Room at Mar-a-Lago. You can see the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and Chief of Staff, Ms. Weil, sitting there at the table with the President of the United States. Marco Rubio, of course, as you know, also acting National Security Advisor, amongst other jobs that he's got. You can also see the map of the Persian Gulf and the region with American assets, ships on either side of the Arab Peninsula there behind the president. I want to scroll through this video real fast here with the sound down if we can see some more of these photographs just so I can help identify, at least based on what I know, what we're looking at here. That, by the way, is Dubai. That is a hotel, a civilian asset. Oh, excuse me. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't switch. I switched over, but I didn't switch you over. That is a hotel in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, that got bombed, a missile attack or a drone attack from Iran. That is a civilian target, a civilian location. By the way, speaking of civilian locations, earlier today you saw reports of an all-girls elementary school that allegedly the United States or the Israelis had bombed this morning. That, it appears, is absolute propaganda. It is a lie. But that did not stop many Western news organizations from repeating it and featuring it. The one caveat they said was Iran officials claim, but why should you believe and take to, you know, the front page of your website or the lead story on your broadcast anything that has just been claimed by an Iranian news site? You also saw some political activists and political characters tweeting out that story that an all-girls elementary school had been bombed by the U.S. and Israeli interests. It appears as though, by the way, that elementary school, based on all of the analysis now and satellite imagery, is actually inside a Navy base in Iran, all right? And it also appears, based on much of the imagery that we have seen, although it is impossible to 100% verify, that it was, in fact, an Iranian missile that misfired, went straight up in the air. You can actually see the stream from that rocket and then came back down. It appears that it was an Iranian rocket that bombed that girls' school. But that's the point. As of now, any reports that a civilian location was targeted by American or Israeli forces is absolute propaganda and unverified, but that's not stopping some journalistic endeavors out there. And I'm talking about the Telegraph. Daily Beast ran with this story. Do not believe those stories and wait and check to see that they're verified before you jump on board with it. That said, it is Iran who has been targeting civilian locations, including this hotel in Dubai, civilian locations in Arab nations. And those nations are now joining with the U.S. and Israeli efforts. All right, here's an image of our Marco Rubio and Susie Wiles and President Trump there. This is the image that we already saw. Just want to scroll through these because they are extraordinary pictures. That's your chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff,
Raising Cane.
Raising Cane. Thank you. I wanted to call him Stormin' Norman because I'm just going back to the old days. This is now the Situation Room in the White House. The seal behind the vice president obviously swaps in and out depending on who's sitting at the head of the table. But since President Trump is at Mar-a-Lago, you've got J.D. Vance overseeing things in the Situation Room. You can see Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, to his right. You've got the Secretary of Treasury there to his left, Scott Bessent. I cannot identify the person directly to the left of the vice president, nor can I identify the person next to Tulsi Gabbard, and I apologize for that. Just want to see if we have another image here on this. No, we're back scrolling the same images. All right. So that's now confirmation from the president. 3-minute phone call to NBC News. We got him. We got him. And as you can see on the Chiron here real fast, I love that. The people that make all the decisions, most of them are gone. A huge development. I mean, this could be just an enormous, unmitigated success here if they could truly decapitate the main infrastructure of the government and military in one fell swoop. Just an extraordinary report if this bears out. Absolutely. And by the way, I also want to reiterate that as of now, we have not gotten any reports, and I do mean 0 reports of any American casualties. That's not to say that there haven't been any. We just have not gotten any reports of American casualties at this time. All right. Matthew Boyle from Breitbart is now reporting that senior administration officials told reporters on a press call, this is less than an hour ago, that there were indications and analysis that the Iranians were planning to preemptively strike U.S. bases. They've done this after the U.S. and Israeli strikes, so they've already done this, and they did this in other moments after the October 7th attacks, as you know, utilizing their proxies in Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. Instead, the president decided to go first rather than suffer a preemptive strike from Iran. The analysis, the officials said, showed that letting the Iranians go first would have led to serious U.S. casualties. Worth noting that CENTCOM has separately said that there have been no U.S. casualties in the Iranian response, so it appears the president's calculations were correct with this regard at least. All right, now you just saw NBC News reporting on that phone call from President Trump. Earlier in the day, NBC News had a different kind of report, and I want to show this to you. This is the foreign minister of Iran. Watch the question that is asked of this man, the anchor. This is basically currently our enemy on the air, you know, given the platform of NBC News, the foreign minister. Watch what happens.
Sir, you heard likely the president of the United States talk about regime change in Iran this morning in his recorded statements. What is your message to the president?
What is your message to the president? Please, sir, use our platform here on NBC News to deliver your message to the president and to the American people and all the West. And don't worry, I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm not going to fact check you. I'm not going to correct you or tell any of my viewers that what you're saying is your own country's propaganda. No. Please use our platform. Oh, by the way, this anchor who just asked that question, her name is Laura Jarrett. Yeah. Does that last name sound familiar to you? Oh, it should. Her mom is Valerie Jarrett. She of the Obama and Biden administrations. Okay, so let's see what he has to say now that he's given the platform of NBC News to spew his garbage.
Well, I think this is mission impossible. For regime change, you cannot do regime change while millions of people are supporting these so-called regime. You just look at what happened in the 47th anniversary of the Islamic Revolution. We had altogether about 30 million people in the streets in all cities of Iran in support of the Islamic Republic and in support of the whole system. So you cannot, change this regime because it's supported by the people. Yes, there are also people who are complaining, but they are strong supporters of the regime, of the system at the same time. And then we have a very well-established political structure, and they have tried regime change. This is not the first time that they want to do regime change. They have tried in the past. Look, in the past 47 years, the United States has tried everything from coup from sanctions, 8 years of war by Saddam Hussein, supported by the United States and many others, and then, 12-day war, snapback, in the Security Council, and terrorist operations. They have tried everything, and all of them failed. And I don't know why they don't, understand their failures. So if they want to repeat a failed experience, they won't get any better result.
Okay, so that was pure propaganda. And I don't have time to fact check it myself. I set it up ahead of time to let you know that it was all propaganda, and it was all meant to demoralize the American people and people in the West. And NBC News allowed it to go uninterrupted, unabated, without any interruption. That is something they don't do to a Republican member of Congress or the Senate when they're interviewing them. Also, by the way, speaking of propaganda out of the Middle East, Al Jazeera has had this tweet up now since 10 this morning Eastern time, that Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, will speak within minutes. We're still waiting. Based on the latest news, I think we're going to be waiting quite some time. But Al Jazeera, keep hope alive, Al Jazeera. It might happen. I suggest that all of you who are confused or might not have as long a memory as some of us do, who we can actually remember when the Ayatollah Khamenei deposed the Shah of Iran during the Carter administration. I was a child, but I remember it, and took American hostages for over 400 days until Ronald Reagan was elected president, and remember all of the various terror attacks at the hands of the Iranians over the course of the ensuing 47 years. I suggest that you go to the timeline of Steve Guest, used to work in the Senate Communications Office for Ted Cruz, now is a political communications expert in Washington, D.C. He has put together a very important, very factual, and vivid description of all of the terror and all of the destruction and all of the murder and all of the mayhem and all of the demonic behavior of this regime over the course of those 47 years. And it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on. This is a righteous act, what has happened in Iran. We are the good guys here. Let no one convince you otherwise. And for everyone telling you that this is a forever war, well, it's about 15 hours long so far. So how about we tap the brakes on that? Define forever, and then we can have a conversation. But I was told Venezuela was going to be a forever war. I think we're okay right now, don't you? All right, let's now turn to joy. Joy demonstrated in the streets of Iran. Look at these boys. I love the Western and American symbols that they're showing. Hawaii, hang loose. I'm thrilled that we had a lot of Persian-speaking individuals worldwide watching our stream this morning. They were able to translate some of these videos for us. Would love for you to translate it for us down below there. But you know what? The smiles and joy and exuberance of young boys, that doesn't really need a translator now and again. Also, check this out. The scenes in Tehran this evening when the news broke that the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, was dead. You can hear the cheers. Homemade firecrackers and fireworks. Not really a moment of mourning here. People opening up their windows and screaming in joy. As the sun set and the news started to spread in Tehran that the supreme leader was dead, that their dictator was dead. More scenes of spontaneous celebrations and cheers erupting in the streets of Tehran. And some brave and savvy individuals were able to get selfie videos out, either via social media or to allies in the West to post.
خامنه‌ای رو میگن زدن خامنه‌ای رو زدن وای وای بچه‌ها مبارکه مبارکه.
Seems the women are the happiest and most excited. Have you noticed that? God, the stories we're going to hear about what women endured in this totalitarian regime if this strike and the intervening weeks is successful in actually overthrowing that government. Here's an expatriate Iranian, though, with a message that we have seen repeated over and over and over again by either expat Iranians who have fled that country or second-generation Iranians who are the children of brave individuals who fled. Listen to this.
Iranian here with a message for every single American who voted for President Trump. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. God bless President Trump, God bless the US military, and God bless America. We can't wait until Iran is free and we can welcome you back to our country with open arms and be the allies that we used to be before the Islamic regime took over our country in 1979. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much, and God bless America.
Who can't be thrilled about this? Who can't be excited about this? Who can't see hope in this? And who can't set aside our political differences or any kind of differences and actually find this to be nothing but an unmitigated positive story? Yes, of course, we're wide-eyed about the potential for a long and potentially deadly and expensive war. Of course we are. We're not stupid. And we need to be wary every step of the way as this progresses. But as of this moment, with those scenes that I just showed you, who cannot immediately jump on board and at the very least take a deep breath and said, this is good. Now let's watch things as we move forward, like I'm saying right now. But at the very least, today of all days, don't insult this woman. Don't betray this woman. At least say, like she can say, God bless America. Thank you, Mr. President. Who can't say that? Well, let's start with this guy. Democrat Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia.
Senator Tim Kaine coming to you on a dark day. President Trump has initiated a completely unnecessary, in my view, really idiotic and illegal war against Iran earlier today, together with the nation of Israel. Reporting is showing that the president is acknowledging this will likely cost U.S. troops their lives for no reason. I first want to offer my prayers to all U.S. service members, especially those in the area, and all U.S. personnel who are working at embassies in the area whose lives have been put at risk by this completely unnecessary decision. The United States had a diplomatic deal with Iran that was controlling their nuclear program. President Trump made the unusual decision to tear up that deal in his first term in office, thus abandoning diplomacy. And the actions both last summer and today suggest this is a president who prefers war to diplomacy, sending a green light to dictators all over the world that a stronger can invade a weaker on its own say-so. I have a war powers resolution that I have before Congress. I'm calling Congress to return immediately to vote on it, that basically says no war against Iran, no war against Iran unless Congress votes to approve it. Virginians don't want another war in the Middle East. Have we learned nothing? I mean, absolutely nothing after 25 years of unproductive wars in the Middle East? Virginians don't want it, Americans don't want it, and I'm hoping my congressional colleagues will listen to their constituents instead of being buffaloed by a warmongering president. We'll return soon to have that vote. The eyes of history will be upon Congress to see if we're willing to do our job. I'll do everything I can to keep our troops safe and keep them free from engagement in wars that are not necessary to the defense of the United States.
Yeah, so the talking points have gone out, and you're going to hear that message repeated a few times here. Can I just say quickly, and I'll repeat myself in a moment or two, but you just heard Tim Kaine say, hey, let's get back and vote and do our job. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, do your job. At the moment, our Department of Homeland Security is unfunded and shut down because of him and because of his colleagues. We are now engaged in a military strike, ongoing military action against a terrorist state. And our Department of Homeland Security is not funded because of him and his colleagues. I got an idea. You want to come back and do your job? How about we start there? How about we fund our Department of Homeland Security, you hypocrite? But as I said, the talking points went out. Listen for the same buzzwords. Listen.
Donald Trump is taking the United States into war on his own with no authorization from Congress. He is willing to sacrifice American lives for what? For regime change? For a war that the president's own top military advisor has warned will be incredibly dangerous? For a war built on lies? For a war that won't make us safer? I want to be clear. The United States had a deal that could have prevented Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. That was Obama's nuclear deal with Iran, and Trump blew that deal up and got nothing in return. And now he's starting another war in the Middle East instead of doing the hard work of diplomacy to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. It is reckless and it is dangerous. It is a betrayal of the president's duty to uphold the Constitution and a betrayal of the American people. Your tax dollars are being used to bomb Iran while Donald Trump ignores the struggles of working people who can't afford health care and are struggling to pay for groceries here at home. That is not America first. All three of my brothers served in the military, so this is personal for me. I'm thinking of and praying for our troops that the president has put in harm's way without justification. We cannot let Donald Trump drag yet another generation into a forever war. The Senate must come back in session immediately to vote up or down on a war powers resolution and block this war. No war with Iran.
Do they not think that we can see all of these videos that say the exact same thing? Do they think that we don't know that they're obviously reading from the same script and the same talking points, making the same point as if it's their original idea? Do they not think that we see how political they are at a time where we're involved in a military strike? One that brought, this woman to thank this country and to pray for the day where we can have normal relations with the terror state. No, I guess they don't think that.
Trump's attacks on Iran are just wildly illegal. They're a mistake of just epic scale. He has learned absolutely nothing from decades of U.S. military disaster in the Middle East. He's spent apparently not a single minute studying all the lives lost and all the trillions of dollars that we wasted in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. Listen, the American public have been crystal clear about this. They don't want to be dragged into another totally unnecessary war of choice in a far-off place like the Middle East. What they want is an American president who is focused on them. Donald Trump has intentionally ruined our economy.
All right, we don't need to see any more of this. You get the picture. By the way, one talking point that I want to help you with, if you do hear it from people on your social media or your dinner table tonight or tomorrow night with your liberal brother-in-law, this is not an illegal war. That's anybody, any politician or any podcaster out there who is claiming that this is an illegal war is either BSing you or they're ignorant, probably both, but they don't deserve your vote if they're a Democrat, and they don't deserve your clicks or your downloads if they're a podcaster. War Powers Act of 1973 allows a president, if they believe it is in the interests of our nation, to go ahead with a military strike without authorization from Congress. Obama did it against Libya, against Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia with drone attacks against terror cells, against ISIS in Iraq and in Syria, against Yemen and Somalia and other counterterrorism efforts across various regions. And not one of these exact same Democrats you just saw stood up and say, Obama's waging an illegal war. They're lying. But I know you're probably used to that by now. I just like to point out, they're doing more than just lying, by the way, these Democrats. The email went out from the chairman of the Democratic National Committee about the military strike in Iran. Overnight, and without congressional approval, Donald Trump initiated major combat operations against Iran. Trump himself said that this is going to be blah, 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 blah. It's illegal, blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, donate to us. The Democrats are raising money while putting out talking points that support the terrorist regime in Iran. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, of course, put out her own statement saying, well, yes, exactly the same thing. The war is unlawful. It's unnecessary. It'll be catastrophic. Well, it's already been catastrophic for the supreme leader and for apparently 40 members of the top military brass in Iran. So she's not wrong there. Her pal and fellow Marxist, Mayor Zohran Mamdani, put out one of the most amazing statements. Today's military strikes in Iran carried out by the United States and Israel mark a catastrophic escalation in an illegal war of aggression. Notice all of the same talking points. Bombing cities, killing civilians, opening a new theater of war. Americans don't want this. They don't want another war in pursuit of regime change. They want relief from the affordability crisis. They want peace. You see? Peace and affordability. Why not? Let's not look at all of the problems I've got in New York City right now. That's why I'm going to focus on my foreign policy, because I'm the mayor of New York, after all. I'm focusing on making sure that every New Yorker is safe. I've been in contact with our police commissioner and emergency management officials. We're taking proactive steps, including increasing coordination across agencies, enhancing patrols, sensitive locations out of an abundance of caution. He couldn't even protect cops who were getting pelted with snowballs. You feel safe, New York? Oh, I like this. This is my favorite part of his statement. Additionally, I want to speak directly to Iranian New Yorkers. You're part of the fabric of this city. You're our neighbors, small business owners, students, artists, workers, and community leaders. You'll be safe here. Of course they'll be safe there. They're in America. That's why they're here, Zohran. It's unsafe back where they've been living for the last 47 years. What do you mean you'll be safe here? They're celebrating. Absolutely clueless. In fact, Major Garrett on CBS News read part of Zohran Mamdani's statement to a pro-freedom activist from Iran. I believe this woman won a Nobel Peace Prize for her efforts on behalf of women in Iran. Watch this epic reaction.
I just want to read what exactly the New York City mayor said. Today's military strikes on Iran, carried out by the United States and Israel, mark a catastrophic escalation in an illegal war of aggression. Bombing cities, killing civilians, opening a new theater of war. Americans do not want this. They do not want another war in pursuit of regime change. They want relief from the affordability crisis. They want peace.
Oh my God. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I live in New York, Mr. Mamdani. You are more than welcome to come to one of my safe houses. You're more than welcome to come and see my would-be assassin in the federal court. You didn't even dare to come and face them. Where were you when they sent killers here in New York City? You were crying for your aunt because she stopped using subway for simply in an illusion statement you made saying that she didn't feel safe because of wearing hijab. Really? I stopped using subway because of the would-be assassins being sent to beautiful New York City by the Islamic Republic. I know maybe you and many other people, they hate President Trump, but believe me, this is not the right time to shift your hatred and your anger from President Trump to the people of Iran. innocent people. We are better allies to you, America, compared to these backward mullahs.
Hot damn, mama. It's amazing when you see actual Persians, actually people who fled Iran or who know what's going on in Iran and what their reaction is compared to, Elizabeth Warren and Tim Kaine. By the way, our own Scott Jennings, our partner here at Salem Media and Town Hall Media, is also confirming that report from Matt Boyle of Breitbart News. Senior Trump administration officials telling me that credible intelligence indicated Iran planned preemptive missile strikes against U.S. military targets in the region, against civilian targets as well. Failure to act would have resulted in mass U.S. casualties. But Tim Kaine says that the president acted illegally. All right. Enough of the Democrats and their reaction. We'll have plenty of time for that on our regular program on Monday. Can we go back to some of the joy, please? Can I show you literal fireworks being shot off like it's the 4th of July in Tehran? By the way, I don't know where they get fireworks in Iran. Obviously smuggled in there. That's the scene in Iran. In fact, this one, before the sun went down, watch this celebration. That is, and we're, used to seeing radical Iranians in the streets burning flags, but it's usually our flag. No, the flag that they just burned was that of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The flag that they are holding up with the golden lion carrying a sword, it is the flag, the former flag of the Shah of Iran. And that is a picture of the crown prince of Iran that they are holding up. They want their Shah back. They want their crown prince back. That's the celebration today in Tehran after the American military strike. Also, by the way, you're probably used to seeing this video, right? Right? We see this all the time. This was from the election. This was from the campaign. Lots of, MAGA fan accounts put this together to show President Trump at his rallies, dancing, the joy, right? You're used to that. What you're not used to is the song, because I know what song you're thinking they're playing, right? You're playing it in your head right now, right? Young man, right? No. Watch. They got Trump dancing to a Persian folk song, baby. They're pretty happy over there. And we like happiness. Actually, they're not just happy over there. Look at the celebration. Worldwide, in the streets of Western cities that have welcomed expatriate Persians into their cities, welcomed them with open arms and given them freedom and democracy and the ability to live their lives free of the totalitarian regime in Iran. That's what it looked like in Australia, in Canada, in Britain, in Switzerland, in Germany, in France. And in New York City, well, in New York City, in Times Square, they already have their pre-printed signs and all the equipment. Where do they get their budget? Where do they get their coordination? Who sets all this up? They're already heading to Times Square to have their big made-for-TV protest that Western media will eat up. They'll love it. They'll slurp it up like a beautiful slushie at your favorite convenience store. But one wonders, where did all that equipment come from? How were they so ready? Or maybe they had the signs already printed. Maybe there's a warehouse somewhere that is just full of every protest sign you can imagine to protest anything America does at any time. Are people all turning in their pro-Hamas signs for their pro-Iranian signs? Is that what's going on here? Because it's all the same players. It's all the same people. And they're ready to go. And the media will love it. And you'll probably see a lot of those Democrats we just featured showing up with a bullhorn, screaming right along with them. that will wrap it up for our special live coverage here. Bottom line here is that all of the reports now confirmed by U.S. officials and the president himself that the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is dead. And according to many reports, up to 40 or more of the top infrastructure of the government and the military also dead in that one single strike. As the president put it, most of the people who make decisions in Iran, they're gone. Not a bad way to start an operation. Again, we're just about 15, 16 hours in. There's a lot more to do, I'm sure, and we will keep watching the news. We want you to keep watching the news, too. Watch all the ideas and the opinions out there. But please, keep your eyes open. Recognize that there's a lot of lies out there. There's a lot of propaganda out there. And there's a lot of people out there, unlike us, here on this show and at Town Hall. We let you know what our perspective is. We tell you what our political perspective is. We respect you enough to know our political perspective and then evaluate and digest our information, knowing that we are coming from a certain perspective. That doesn't give us the license to lie to you, and we never will. But there are a lot of people out there who claim like they don't have a perspective. They claim they're being unbiased. They claim that they're completely impartial, and they're lying. Bear that in mind as you digest your news, as you gather more information on all the platforms, and keep coming back to townhall.com and to all of our sister sites for analysis, context, and opinion, and breaking news. Our sister sites at Town Hall, of course, other than Town Hall, the mothership, we also have Hot Air, we have Red State, we have PJ Media, we have Twitchy, and we have Bearing Arms. And please subscribe to this channel. As news continues to develop and grow, we will go live to you again, yes, through the weekend, when it warrants. Otherwise, we'll be back, as we always are, every day, every weekday at noon for our live coverage right here on this program. Thank you for watching tonight. God bless America. Please keep our troops in your prayers because they are still engaged, the Navy and the Air Force, and the way things are developing, we could very well see more action there on the ground in Iran, with the American flag involved, and they deserve your love and your support. So please, and your prayers, of course. God bless our troops. God bless our president. God bless our country. And God bless you. Thank you for watching. My name is Larry O'Connor, and you can call me Larry.